Hey guys, it's Joe from Finding Faith, and I want to continue my Bible verse series basically on why I memorize certain Bible verses. For the sake of video length, I'm only going to do 2 or 3 Bible verses per video. This one's going to be 3, the next one's going to be 2, because even though it's sections of Bible verses, there's a pretty big section in my next one. So just as a reminder, the reason why Christians memorize Bible verses is because the Word of God is living and active inside of us, and because they help us connect better. You know, we memorize verses, we start to look at them in new ways, we see God in a much better perspective, and it shapes our lives. So I definitely encourage you to memorize Bible verses if you aren't doing so already. So my first one in today's video is going to be Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if anything is worthy of praise, think about these. Paul's whole letter to the Philippians is absolutely lovely. But what gets me about this verse is that Paul is basically saying you need to be directing your mind to the things of God. He doesn't say things of God in this particular verse, but it's very clear from everything else that he talks about in the letter that these are the things of God. And sometimes in my thought life, I find myself thinking about things that aren't exactly pure, lovely, commendable, just. You know, that's problematic. But this verse brings me back, so that's what I use it for. It's really good redirection, and it really helps me out. Next up is going to be a pretty drastic change. This is going to be Daniel 11:32. He shall seduce with flattery those who violate the covenant, but the people who know their God shall stand firm and take action. Daniel is very famous for the Daniel in the lion's den or the Daniel and the other guys in the furnace stories, but the book of Daniel is actually much more interesting than just those little parts. Now, in this particular case, Daniel is prophesying about, future leaders that are going to lead people away from God, but he also says that this particular leader is not going to be able to seduce some people, and that there are always going to be people who know the right thing to do, who hold firm to the truth. What's also important is he points out how this particular individual, and this can apply to Satan or any form of temptation, is using flattery. There are lots of evil tactics that Satan and demons and the world use to cause Christians like myself to fall into sin periodically, and flattery is one of the worst because it just makes you feel good about yourself. Sometimes it's even direct flattery for whatever sin you committed. So my point in this verse is just remembering, okay, this is what's going to happen. You are going to, get these temptations, and it's going to feel good, the idea of giving in, but don't give in. Hold firm to God. And in my last one for today, I have 1 Peter 2:20. 1 Peter 2:20 says, "For what credit is it if when you sin and are beaten for it you endure? But if when you do good and suffer for it you endure, this is a gracious thing in the sight of God." I've talked about persecution before, and there are genuinely some people who don't believe Christians get persecuted. In the United States of America, where I live, it's definitely much less common on the level that it's common in places like India, in the Middle East. But Peter is reminding us that we don't get to complain when we suffer because of our own sin. He's not saying we get to complain when we suffer on account of God, but he is saying that suffering on account of God is a gracious thing to do. It's hard to think about, but it is a good reminder that our suffering is not in vain, and that we will eventually be rewarded for it after we endure through it. This kind of suffering is often temporary, and when it is not temporary, it's usually more brief, just from my understanding of it. Being very general, I understand that, and we definitely need to be praying for people who are suffering on account of God. But this is a good verse because it gives me a lot of perspective, and I think it just really helps hone in on the fact that I'm doing the right thing no matter what kind of opposition I face. Alright guys, that's all I got for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your guys' time. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and like, comment, share my videos. Have a blessed day or night, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you again.